Hey guys, it's Chad with The Sitting Solution, and I've got another question. It's from Susan, and she wants to know what she can do to get rid of the knots in her back. So Susan's someone who sits at a computer all day, always kind of leaning forward, typing, talking on the phone, and she's got this chronic pain, right around the top of the shoulder blade here, the part where you probably end up rubbing a lot. She's been to a lot of massage therapists, done acupuncture. She's even taken a lot of pain relievers and muscle relaxers to get rid of that pain. And the pain will sort of go away, but it hasn't gone away completely. And the issue really is because she hasn't attacked the root of the problem, because the root of the problem really is that she has a sitting problem and that she lives in what we like to call a flexion-based society that is always moving in that position, right? And over time, we get adaptations with that position. Certain muscles will get tight and shortened. Certain muscles will get elongated and weak. We'll see some changes in the spine in general, and all of that will lead to movement dysfunction, which then leads to pain. And another example we like to use is kind of this bowling ball analogy example. If you've seen our neck pain video, you probably checked that out. But imagine if you're holding a bowling ball and in your fingers here, and everything is nice and aligned and balanced, you wouldn't be putting that much stress on your forearms. But let's imagine you take that bowling ball and you start slowly cocking it forward a little bit at your wrist. The more forward you cock that wrist, the more relative weight that bowling ball is going to be, and it's going to cause more and more stress on these muscles that extend the wrist over time. And in the same way, it's just like that with our heads and our posture and our alignment, right? When we're nice and upright, our head only weighs 7 to 8 pounds, but once we start to live in this forward position, the relative weight of the head gets heavier and heavier, so now it's 20, 30 pounds, and then that's going to cause a lot of the pain that you're feeling. So this is a reflection of a big, more encompassing problem. So there's a lot of things that we want to address here. So I'm going to give you a lot of ideas of what you can do in order to restore some alignment and structural balance. So the first thing I like to do is work on the spine. The spine is the most central thing that we're working on. It's sort of the root. If we move that around, it makes fixing everything else a whole lot easier. So let's go ahead and show you a thoracic extension on the wall. So you're just going to put one foot in front of the other, and then take your elbows behind your head, and then bring the elbows forward, put them on the wall. And what you're going to do before you do anything else is kind of tuck your pelvis, really squeeze your butt, and then slide your elbows up the wall, and then come back and kind of exhale as you do that. You're going to feel a big stretch right in that middle of the back, because that thoracic spine that's always been flexing is now opening up and regaining its normal anatomical range of motion. One thing you want to watch out for is to not tilt the pelvis too much, right? That's all lumbar extension, not thoracic extension. So that's something you can do, 8 to 10 reps, good way to start out. So another thing I like to do is to help you get rid of some of that tension that you're holding on to. And I say tension because that's what's really going on. The nervous system has gotten adapted, and it thinks it has to hold on with this kind of upper trap restriction, this tightness around here that's pulling the shoulder blade up. We kind of live in this upper trap dominant society that is pulling everything up. It affects our posture, it affects how we move, it even affects how we breathe. So it's really important to teach this area that it's okay, it's going to be all right, and sort of let go. And I love using a BodyWorks ball for this exercise. So this is a cool thing. It's basically just a lacrosse ball with a string wrapped around it and a handle. But my patients find it a whole lot easier to use than a typical lacrosse ball because it's so easy to position on the wall in that right area. So basically you just take this, throw it over your shoulder, and just find the trigger points that are really tight and painful around your shoulder blade. You want to go inside the shoulder blade, just on top of it. Those areas where it feels like you need a massage really bad. Find a trigger point and then hang out there and breathe. Just kind of relax and let go of the shoulder. It's really important to connect the breath with this because, again, it's the nervous system. The nervous system has to understand there's no threat here and just let it relax. So once you find that trigger point, 8 to 10 seconds. And another thing you can do is take the shoulder and move it through multiple planes. So you can take the shoulder and move it down here, kind of think about throwing something over your shoulder. You can go back to the middle of the shoulder blade there with the ball and go across. And both of those are going to give you kind of like an active release technique, trigger point thing, where you're kind of holding it down, anchoring that point, and then using movement to help release all that. But you want to work all around here and all the way down here, like the areas that are really just kind of not moving, not a lot of blood flowing in there, a lot of achiness and a lot of pain. So great tool to have around the office, and you can spend 2 to 4 minutes doing that whenever you like. So another thing I like to have people do is what's called a wall angel. And I'd say for most people, start about 6 inches from the wall. And you're just gonna kind of tuck, get a flat back, tuck the pelvis, get the back of your head against the wall, keep a level chin, and then try to get the back of the forearms, the back of the wrists on the wall, and keep everything nice and tight, and then make a Y right here. Just real simply, make that Y. And this is gonna help strengthen a lot of those muscles that are getting elongated and weak. And it's gonna help restore some proper movement back in the scapula as it moves on the rib cage. And you're also gonna help open up a lot of these muscles in the chest that are so tight and restricted. Now, I will say a lot of people, because they've been living in this world, they have an extremely hard time getting in this position. So if that's the case, just scoot the feet out a little bit more. But same principles apply. Tuck the pelvis, back of the head against the wall, level chin, make that Y, right? Just right there. And think about bringing it all the way down, and you want to avoid that, right? Kind of avoid tilting everything. Keep it nice and flat. So these are wall angels. Think about maybe 10 to 15 of those, doing that throughout the day. Other thing I want to show you is a forearm wall slide. I love this exercise because it restores the strength of the middle trap and the lower trap and gets that scapula coming back and down where it's supposed to. So just take one foot in front of the other, forearms on the wall, elbows on the wall, thumbs pointing behind you. It's really important that you don't internally rotate here. Thumbs pointing behind you. Kind of make sure your spine is in neutral as you lean forward here. You don't want to tilt the pelvis any. So nice neutral position. Slide the forearms up the wall. Bring it back. Hold for about 3 seconds. Come back. Elbows on the wall, slide down, and repeat. And this is one you can do 10 to 15 repetitions, just nice, smooth, and controlled. Main thing, you don't want to internally rotate. Again, it has to be kind of that Y position, coming out and coming back. And again, we're targeting these muscles in the lower trap, getting everything back and strong where it needs to be. I would also recommend splitting your repetitions up on the right and left so you don't get some imbalances over time. Other thing we'll show you is a wall pec stretch. So with that internal rotated position, these muscles are going to shorten. The pec minor, the pec major, the muscles on the anterior side of the delt, everything really is kind of in this contracted position. So we want to open this up. The more we open this up, the less stress and the less work these muscles back here are going to have to be doing, kind of where you're feeling all that pain. So basically just take the wall, put your arm flat on the wall, put your shoulder on the wall, and you can use this arm to kind of turn a little bit as you keep your back flat. Now another key point about this is the breathing. As you press, exhale, relax. And then what you can do is press with this arm into the wall and hold for about 5 seconds, just sub-maximally. Exhale, press in the wall with this hand, and relax. Another thing you can do with this is get more external rotation in your hand, which is going to target the pec minor a little more. The pec minor is a real culprit in terms of getting so tight where it pulls everything forward. But just take your arm and then take your palm up and do the same thing. Press on the wall, exhale, and then again. And this is one you can hold for 10 to 30 seconds if you like. Do about 2 to 3 sets on each side. But a great way to open up the shoulder and restore that natural alignment. So last thing I want to show you here is just a very simple sitting shoulder shrug. So in a nice upright position, take your shoulders, squeeze them up towards your ears and squeeze as hard as you can and hold for about 5 seconds. And then squeeze back and down and hold for about 5 seconds. And then relax. And do that about 10 times. Up, hold for 5, back, hold for 5, relax. And what we're doing there is we're contracting those muscles as hard as we can, and then it allows you to relax. So when you contract and relax, you're allowing old blood and new blood to get out and get in and get that natural circulation like it needs to, because a lot of the times we're just not contracting those muscles anymore, so it's not getting new blood in there. There's not getting the oxygen, all the nutrients that we need, and those muscles, they get real dry. And it's a simple way to also get your brain the understanding that, you know, if you give the brain an understanding of what maximal contraction is, you will really allow it to notice what maximal relaxation is, and you're going to be somewhere in that middle where it's really supposed to be comfortable for you. So it creates some awareness and proprioception for you in terms of how much tension you should be holding on in there. So that's a lot, kids. It's a lot of information, but I hope that helped you in terms of the understanding of what's going on and give you some insights on how to fix it. We covered a lot. These are going to be a good place to start. I do have to remind you that if you really want the best results, you want to move throughout the day and avoid these long, chronic, sustained poor positions. Think about getting up and moving every 30 to 45 minutes for a period of 2 to 4 minutes and moving in specific and intentional directions. And if you're looking for a program that does this, that's what our Sitting Solution program is all about. We instruct all these videos, easy laid out program for every workspace scenario. So if you want to learn more about that, go to sittingsolution.com. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section. And if you found this useful, please share it and like it. Thank you.